Hello, everyone. It's Tommy Lee Hayes Brown with Rito Recognition. I'm excited to be here on live on location. We are in Toronto, and I'm with my friend David Brookman. Say hello.
I am David Creelman, and I'm also excited to be here. At any moment, you never know if 200 people are going to walk by because we're at the HRPA convention.
Absolutely. The theme of this year is Power Up, and perfect theme for my guest because he helps us power up our HR initiatives, especially around employee recognition, strategy, leadership development. David, you've done it all. Why don't you give the audience a short introduction of yourself?
So the micro introduction. So again, David Creelman. I lead Creelman Research, and I do a lot of research and writing and consulting around different parts of the HR space. And I really got interested in recognition from the analytics point of view, and that led me into the whole world of reader recognition.
I thank you for mentioning analytics because I've noticed at the conference this year, and there's got to be thousands of people here, that analytics is one of the ways I'm seeing or trends. People are powering up their employee recognition programs and employee engagement and just general organizational results overall with analytics. One thing I always say to people is employee recognition is no longer a nice to have, but it's a need to have. Now, we got affiliated with you, David, when you interviewed some of our employees.
Yeah, so, I mean, and the background, so, I actually met with their head of analytics, and I was so impressed with what they were doing that I came to visit Rito. And then I realized that it's not just numbers. In fact, it's not mainly numbers. It's all about the people there and how they've created this great workplace. So when I was writing a chapter in a book about great workplaces, I said, well, I know one. I got an easy one to do because I've actually been there. And I thought, well, if you really want to learn about a great workplace, you don't just talk to the CEO. I wanted to talk to the people who are actually on the workplace, and that's where I got the best insight into what it takes to make a really effective a place that's fun to work, good to work, but also gets business results, and that's what I really wanted to focus on.
And you found it. So you found some employees, and you did the tour and all that of the workplace, and that's why we titled this The Good Workplace, because we just wanted to make sure that people, well, we think it's a good workplace, and it's great to get that validation from someone who doesn't work there. What is a good workplace that you've seen? Because you've talked to companies all over the world, and what's one or two things that they all have in common?
What they all have in common, first of all, is sincerity. Mm-hmm. So it's not that they've done something clever. I guess maybe that's it. You might think, oh, well, they've done something clever. We've got them special HR program. And yeah, they do have HR programs, but it's the sincerity with which it's delivered that really makes a difference. And the other thing is that the program is not divorced from the business. So it's not, oh, HR, you guys go out and make a great workplace. We're going to pump out widgets or audits or whatever it is the company is doing. It's HR working in conjunction with the leadership team. And the reason you're having a great workplace is partly because it's just a value, but it's intimately tied in with the idea that we're going to get better results if we have a better workplace.
So I like how you say that, it's not, they don't run separately. So, a good workplace is not, you got to pump out the widget. You got to have to think about the business, but it's not an HR initiative.
That's right.
It's a company culture, if I may translate what you're saying, that, it's an overall strategy that involves everyone, no matter what you do in the company.
Yeah, and what's great is, again, I say, I learned from talking to the actual employees on the workforce, and their stories weren't about, oh, HR did this great thing. It's about my boss did this great thing, even though I'd only been there a few weeks, or the CEO did this great thing. Whether I've been there a year or 10 years or 3 months, those are the stories that come up. So, again, it was coming from people throughout the organization and their peers, by the way. It's not just top down; it's side to side, and it was that combination of things, as well as, by the way, a smart and effective HR department.
So if I could just veer off a second, because you keep making me think about things that actually, and you got to forgive us. We're live on location, so you might hear a little background noise, but hey, it is what it is. We're at a big conference, and it's a very busy conference. So, but you said about peer-to-peer recognition, and that's something that I think a lot of companies do not think about, how important it is to give, most people just think about, I'll use myself, for example. Before I got into the industry, I just thought recognition was something your boss did for you on your birthday or service anniversary. And what we find out is that the peer-to-peer recognition can be, if not more so, equally important. And when I say peer-to-peer recognition, well, why don't you describe to me what you mean by peer-to-peer recognition?
Yeah, it can be a very specific program, right? So you can set up something, usually using some software that allows people to recognize. But I think, again, when we start from sincerity point of view, it doesn't start with the tool. It starts with, we have a workplace where we encourage people to celebrate each other's successes and, to say something about it. And whether it's, you could just have a bulletin board where somebody puts up a note, or you can have some kind of official program. But fundamentally, the idea is you're encouraging people on the team to celebrate other people on the team who've done something, that's good. Not. It doesn't, by the way, we're not saying, oh yeah, the company was on fire and this person dragged us out to safety. It's not dramatic things. It's that. We had a problem with this machine, and it wasn't this person's department, but they came over and they helped us fix it because they knew how urgent it was. It was just day-to-day stuff where somebody does something that you say, you know what, that was the right thing to do, and I want to give that person a pat on the back.
Yeah, and that's that can be really, really paramount to the way I think about going into work every day. Because we have managers, but we spend, I think, most of us spend time with our peers, and it's very, very important that we feel engaged with them. Are we on? Rhea,
yes, hi, Tommy Lee and David. How are you?
Oh, there you
are.
I am sorry my mic was not working. I've been creepily listening in this whole time trying to speak, but sorry, it's just working now.
Well,
How are you?
Rhea. You're fired.
No,
You're fired.
No, not from Rideau. It's too nice of a place to work.
Great to see you. So Rhea is in our home office in Montreal.
Yes.
And again, we're in Toronto, so thank you, technology.
Yes.
And so and this is a very loose conversation, Rhea. There are no wrong answers, okay?
Of course.
I just want to make sure you know that. I want to, let me ask you a question. So those days that you don't feel like getting out of bed in the morning.
Yeah.
But you come to work and you give your all anyway. And I can testify Rhea does that because I work with Rhea in the marketing department. Yep. And so always has that same smile you see right now on her face, no matter what's going on. I wish I was.
Tommy Lee, you're making me blush.
It's the truth, though. It's the absolute truth.
By the way, this is some peer-to-peer
recognition.
Yeah, and
this is great peer-to-peer recognition.
And it sounds like a joke. This is not a program, that HR implemented. We're not going on some software thing to exchange gift cards. Right. It's an atmosphere where employees just have learned to say nice things about each other and to notice when someone's doing a good job. And this is it. We can end the webinar now. We've now absolutely. So where I was going, so what makes you get out of bed? And those days you really don't feel like it, or you get a bad customer, or you've had a bad day, you goofed up and whatever. What makes you keep going?
It's really knowing that when you come into work, whatever is happening with life as it happens, knowing that your employees or coworkers are going to have your back, your team is here to help you and not hinder you, and that's just a vibe, if I can say, an atmosphere that exists in Rideau that I see every day coming in, making it easy when it's not that easy to come into work. Right. And work, actually deliver something well as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I really want people to understand, Rideau and other places like us, we're not perfect. We're not saying, we float on clouds of heaven every day. At Rideau, we have, any company, we have our good days, bad days, good quarters, bad quarters, good years, bad years, whatever those metrics are that you determine, the key performance indicators that you're watching. What I am saying, though, overall, you put everything on the scale and it tips heavily in the direction of a good place to work.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
good place to work. You know, and you're what generation are you? Are you Gen Z or
I think I'm technically a millennial.
okay,
I
millennial?
think
Thank
I'm
you.
technically a
I
millennial,
didn't
but
want to guess your age. You don't have to say your age.
no,
But
it's
you know,
fine. But I
so,
think I fall in that bracket, if you will. And
okay.
yeah.
And
I
so,
just
you
do
know,
just want
what's
to
your
say we have Anik here who's joined us into the webinar. I can see
oh
her
great.
in my Zoom. So hi Anik, thank you so much for coming
Hi.
to the webinar.
Hey,
Hi,
Annette. Oh, there she is. Hey
Once she
there.
starts talking.
Yeah. So, Annette, you know, you know me. You know Rhea, David.
Yes. Hi. Nice to meet you.
And so, you know, why don't you answer the same question, and then I'll go into
I'm sorry.
my speech.
I was listening to the
So
answer.
the question, I know you just joined us,
Yeah.
so I'm going to repeat the question.
Go for it.
And I was just saying, what gets you out of bed? You know, those days, and don't say you don't have them, where you just don't feel like going to work. You know, we all have those days where, or you're at work, you get a bad customer. What makes you go ahead and muddle through with a smile on your face because you are one of our employees that we depend on as a Rito ambassador. Well, actually, all of them we depend on to be a Rito ambassador. Somebody who, does the job, does it pleasantly, great to work with. You know, whether you're talking about your manager, people that you manage, or a peer, what keeps you going, especially those times when it's a little difficult?
Oh, definitely. We have those moments. I wouldn't say often because most of our clients are super pleasant to work with, and we've built such a wonderful relationship. But of course, everybody has those days where, staying in because of the storm outside or something it would have been
Right.
better. Coming into the office it's the people. It really, I don't think I could go much further than just saying the people. We have such an amazing group that we work with. I have some employees who have the opportunity to work from home permanently. And most of them come in at least 1 or 2 days a week just because they want to see the people they work with. They enjoy the staff. That's
saying a lot.
When you see the building from the outside, it looks like nothing. But the minute you come through the walls and you see Peter's paintings on the walls and people walking down the hall with their smiles on their face, then everybody is happy to be here. So it makes you part of the team, makes you part of the family.
Yeah, I don't mind starting with my own experience, being that I've been in Rito less for sure than Anik you have. I've been only here for 2 years, and I've had the greatest fortune of having some of the best and most dynamic managers that I've experienced in my career so far. And I really think that the real discerning factor between a good manager and someone who's a good manager is involving and making sure their team, in fact, feels like a team. I think that there are so many places where work is dynamic and competitive, and you need to be on your A game a lot of the time, and that can foster some competition or some tensions within the team. But if your manager is making a good effort to do that peer-to-peer recognition and also do that, we're a team, we're in this together, it just makes projects and intense situations that much easier. Thank you, David and Tommy Lee, for this very informative webinar. Anik, thank you so much for taking the time to come. I know you were busy today, but it was very informative listening to you. And to the audience, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next webinar series. Stay tuned.